What is up, Level Up Nation, and welcome to the Monday, May 10th edition of Level Up Live, your home for gaming and esports news, brought to you by OTN Media. Chat is feisty already. My name is Fiasco. You can call me John, and I am joined by the scapegoat, the king of the courtside king, Joey. Joey, happy Monday.
Okay, I have to ask you in chat, did that music come through like it normally does for you?
Why wouldn't it?
Mine sounded like it was like in the muffler of a car that was dragging on the street. So I don't know if it was just on my end or what happened, but that's why I started to lose it there.
Oh, I couldn't figure out what was funny,
heck?
but I saw Prophet over here in the chat say about darn.
I know, I am late. It's my fault. Work got a little crazy today. The mayor made some changes that we weren't expecting based on our last couple meetings. I think they're great because now you can have more fans in Nats Park, but I'm going to have to make a lot of adjustments because of it in a really busy week already for OTN stuff. So I am late. It's my fault, not John's. But we are here in the end, about 10 minutes late.
I mean,
we still got plenty to talk about.
You can try to blame it on me. I mean, it's like I got off of work. I got my hair cut. I went to look for some Star Wars merch. Didn't find anything good. Went to Best Buy, came home, then, still had plenty of time left. It was a lot of fun stuff, Joe. I don't know why you're so busy. But Nation, make sure you do follow the show on Twitter and Facebook. If you don't already do so at Level Up Live, at LVL UP Live. And while you're on Twitter, find all of Joey's spicy takes on the mayor of DC's decision to reopen the city.
There are no spicy takes on Twitter. He doesn't do
that. But he does have spicy takes, including his first book report / review since high school. I'm gonna go ahead and say high school on that, Joey. It's probably college, but yeah, really cool there. He might touch on a little bit later on in the show. Make sure you follow him at Courtside King. Follow myself at Fiasco for all the witty banter, bad takes, and just trolling. That's pretty much all that's good for. And Nation, as always, if you do wish to listen to the podcast version of the show, Level Up Podcast is available on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. And since you're listening to the podcast version, why not leave us a review? Reviews do go a long way in helping not only grow the audience, but also gives us the critical feedback that we need to make this show what you, our listeners and viewers, want this show to be. So please, all feedback is always welcome. All right, Joey, it is Monday. It was a very long weekend. We had two very different weekend experiences, you and I, but it is Monday. It is the start of the work week. There's a lot of esport events coming up. What are we talking about this week on Level Up?
It's a great question, John. We have some roster moves. We're going to start diving into some League of Legends off-season moves. We're about that time of the season. Some stuff being finalized. Nothing's finalized yet. Anything can't be signed until I think it's like May 21st or 26th, if I remember correctly. But we're getting to that point where at least verbal commitments are being made. So we'll dive into a couple of those. Then we're going to dive into some acquisitions with EA picking up a new company on the tails of just a couple other companies they picked up. We're going to look at Gamescom and E3, some new notables coming to those events, as well as some possible showings coming out that we can tease here as well. We have Ubisoft diving more into the Division IP, the Coalition making some announcements, a possible Nintendo movie in the works. We're going to go on to talk a little bit about some Melee and Overwatch League, League of Legends MSI, and much more.
Oh my goodness, it is action-packed. Mainly because last Thursday, we decided to switch things up here a little bit. We had a little bit of a game stream going on while we tried to talk esports and gaming news. Didn't work out very well, where we were way too hyper-focused on... Well, I was hyper-focused on winning. One of us was hyper-focused. The other person who is the other host of the show was too busy focusing on, not winning. We'll just leave it there. Joey, I don't want to gloat anymore, but so let's go right into my favorite topic here, or segment, and that's the drink of choice. Joey, your beverage here for the May 10th version of Level Up Live, please.
Yeah, I'm curious what thoughts are going to be. I'm actually drinking coffee, guys.
Wow. Wait.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to give up on sleep this week at this point. Like, there's just so much going on that I just really don't know if I'm going to have time to even attempt to sleep. So we're just going to go full on coffee, at least for a couple days.
Now, Joey, you recently left one of your Yetis in my car.
Oh, yes.
Is that literally like the same Yeti that you left in my car? Is like a small blue one?
The Yeti you have is my water Yeti.
Wait.
Wait.
You have multiple Yetis for different types of liquid?
Oh, yeah. So here, check this out, fam. Okay, look at this. So this is, let me not pour it on my keyboard. This is my coffee Yeti.
What's the difference?
The top, do you see the difference of the top here?
Okay.
So it's like this super sealed top that is good for really hot liquids. And then this is more like a water Yeti. You have to have a coffee Yeti to make it work. Because they're just so much better sealed, and it's really good for like my commutes when I was actually doing commutes.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
I'm being judged here.
You
along
are
with my bougie water filter.
Your 4-filter water filter. Yes. Joey, it's okay. I had a very long weekend. I partook in a lot of alcohol. So I am giving my liver a break today. Sparkling ice. It is grape raspberry flavor. It's quite good. If you've never had sparkling
ice, what is that exactly?
It's like sparkling water, but doesn't have like that sparkling water taste that is like 90% carbonated water with a hint of something that might resemble lemon and or lime.
Oh, okay, so it's just more fruit flavoring to it.
Yeah, it drinks like a soda, but it actually has a ton of vitamins in it. Stupid healthy, no sugar, no carbs, no nothing. So I mean, I love it.
You gotta check out Spindrift. Spindrift is very good in that department too.
Yeah, but our good friend of the show, Panicking Pat, told me about this the other day when we were building the Lego headset. Chipmunk comes in and goes, "There's no hot tub here. No hot tub meta here on OTN Media." I did pitch the idea, which was promptly turned down by Joey, mainly because he did not want to go forward with the idea of a 2-piece suit for both of us. So
I mean, I'm just saying we need to leave some of that content for your OnlyFans, Sean. We can't put everything on Twitch.
And there's your PG-13 rating here on Twitch, fam. All right, Joey, we have our topics. We apparently are plugging my OnlyFans now. And we have our beverages. Let's go ahead and throw it into, if we can even say this episode, let's go and throw it into gaming and esports news. Let's go!
Absolutely. Let's kick things off with just a couple roster moves here. According to .esports, Mad Lions have reached an agreement with former Excel support Torre and former Kick top laner Kakos to join their academy team for the summer split. I don't think we need to dive too much into this, but one thing to keep in mind with Mad Lions here in particular is their bot lane. Their LEC bot lane, arguably a top 3 bot lane right now. Some people in their top 1, some people just below Reckless and Mickey, maybe even Upset and Hillsong, depending who you talk to. Either way, top 3 bot lane, they have not re-signed, and they've chosen not to for now. Now, that doesn't mean that they might be leaving the Mad Lions LEC team, but it does mean at the end of the season, they're going to be free agents, or at least closer to the end of the season. I mean, they might just wait, and if they go to Worlds, then they sign then. But at this point in time, they have rejected doing any kind of signing, so they might be free. They might go to G2, they might go to Fnatic, they might say, hey, let's just go to North America, get paid, and retire. We don't really know at this point, but this is one thing to look at in that kind of scope, that Torre is one of those veteran support players. They're picking him up for academy in case maybe they do need to make a move, potentially later in this year, early in next year. Over to a bit of a spicier move, John. Vitality. They have a new roster, and it could be at the expense of Fnatic. My boys over here. There's no flag behind me anymore, but the heart is still here for Fnatic. It still beats orange. Rumors of a new Vitality roster coming out. We're looking at SLT, a top 3 potential. It's hard to tell, but in the academy scene, in like EU Masters, in the European regional leagues, as they call themselves, there's a lot of really high potent players. We've seen a lot of really great mids come from up in there. Top laners has been another big priority over the last couple of years. This is a top 3 prospect for those sports fans out there. As far as esports goes with SLT, he's supposed to be very good. He performed well at the EU Masters. Now potentially getting a shot here with an LEC team. Again, none of these signings can be made yet until late May, but it sounds like there's a verbal commitment here that has been made, and it should be made official later this month. So he'll be the starting top laner. Then they're also going to pull another EU Master player, Lighter, up, mainly known for his assassin pool. Clue, I think you're in chat, or Prophet. You might know a little bit about him. He's supposedly like a very good mechanical assassin player in League of Legends, playing in EU Masters for a couple years now. He's going to get his shot up here, and he's going to do it alongside Fnatic jungler Selfmade. His contract expires at the end of the year. It doesn't sound like he's going to renew, at least at this point. So Fnatic is saying, hey, if you're not going to renew, we're going to cash in on you. We're going to do what Barcelona never does with Messi. We're going to actually cash in and make the move. So it sounds like Selfmade will be heading to Vitality. I know I'm burning everyone. I'm sorry. And then Crownshot and Labrov are going to stay in that bot lane. So your new Vitality roster potentially is SLT, Selfmade, Lighter, Crownshot, and Labrov. John, what are your thoughts on this roster? Do you think this roster makes it to Worlds?
Oh, my thoughts are you woke up and chose violence this morning. My goodness, coming out all like banging on all cylinders, the feisty courtside king. I like Vitality pulling up young players, putting them into a roster. I think there's something to be said about that. Bwipo to jungle, I think, is the more interesting take here. I know there's been reports about him playing more jungle when he solo queues, when he duo queues, when he's just kind of scrimming, trying to like figure things out here and there. So I think it could be a good move for Fnatic if Bwipo does have a solid transition to that jungle position. Bring in a top laner. It's maybe a little bit more consistent, maybe not as, risky as Bwipo likes to play. I think it can work out for Fnatic, but I do like Vitality going young, bringing in a lot of young talent, and let's see what they can do. I think, League of Legends is one of those scenes that struggles to develop new talent, regardless of region, just because it's like once you're there, you just kind of sit there forever until you're ready to move. So I applaud any organization willing to take that chance. It is a big risk, but it's one great way to really showcase new talent. So I actually like this move by Vitality.
And you can't get much worse than Vitality was last split either. They're toward the bottom of the standings. They're not looking great. There's not really too many sparks there. Crown Shot, yes, he came back. He looked pretty good there later on in the split. But overall, that team it was very lackluster. They had some rookies, so yes, that plays into it. You have to give them time to develop, time to kind of warm up to the scene and moving on to the stage as well, as we did get later on into the season. And I believe Summer's probably going to be on stage as well. I'm not sure if they've announced that yet, but I think we're trending in that direction. So part of it is going to be giving these rookies times, and Vitality has said, we're just going to give it a chance to a few other rookies. They're going with SLT here as well as Lighter, but making that switch for Selfmade. I think overall this roster has lots of potential. I think there is a lot of carry potential in general on this roster, but we've also seen that go south in the past. When you put too many carry players on one roster, then everyone wants the gold, everyone wants the experience, and you end up with people stealing different kills or vice versa because they feel like they need to be the ones carrying. So it really is going to come down to one, communication, and two, the meta. This roster is very meta heavy. Selfmade is not very great on supportive champions. He used to have a pretty good Sejuani, but we haven't seen it in quite a while. So he tends to go toward carries, and then Lighter, again, very assassin heavy in comparison to mages. So it all kind of depends on the meta with how this roster is going to go. As far as Fnatic goes, so their top laner is going to be the number one top lane prospect in Adam. Again, these are all just prospect numbers, all based on what people have seen at EU Masters and throughout the season for the Eastern European League. I think the kid's talented, but we've only seen him for one semester, or one split rather. So I don't know. It's a very big price tag on a player for seeing very little experience out of him. I think he's going to be very talented. I think he has a lot of room to grow, but it's one of those things where they're paying, I think the price ended up being $250,000 just for the buyout. And then that doesn't even include the contract on top of that. So we're talking a pretty penny for a guy who's only played literally a split of League of Legends so far in any kind of professional environment. So a lot of proving there. On top of that, John, you mentioned Bwipo in the jungle. I'm intrigued by Bwipo in the jungle. I feel like his playstyle has shown us he can play carries, he can play supportive champions, but sometimes he's a little bit of a coin flip player in the sense that he'll just overcommit to certain fights. And that could be a communication issue on the team's part. That could be Bwipo thinking he's stronger than he is in certain moments of the game. But overall, I feel like of anything he has done, and I think you'll agree, we've seen him on the caster desk quite a bit, and the guy is very knowledgeable about the game. So I'm curious if that's going to help translate to the jungle, especially with him being willing to play a supportive role.
Yeah, I mean, with jungle being able to roam and kind of having to keep track of everything on the map a little bit more than he does when he's at top lane, where really with your top lane, you're looking to sustain, maybe push, maybe be a little aggressive, and then you're looking for a TP play and possibly a gank down mid, but you're relying on communication really from your teammates when it comes to those decisions. When you're jungle, I mean, you're literally one of the top voices on your team. Like, you have free roam. Like, yeah, obviously there's pathing. Obviously there's, objectives that you need to accomplish while in the jungle. But, if he wants to play aggressive, he's going to be that support coming to that lane. He wants to be aggressive mid lane. He's going to go there. You have your mid laner there with you also. It's a 2v1 gank. You want to be aggressive top lane, you move top lane. He understands top lane very, very well. Then I feel like he'd be a great topside jungler as well. See a lot of ganks topside, just going based upon the flow of the game as well. And then with his instinct of looking to gank bot, maybe TP bot from his days at top lane, I think that can play well too. I'm intrigued by it. because like you said, he has the IQ in game. He has the in-game knowledge. He has the ability to play that aggressive jungle style. My worry, and I think it's the same worry that a lot of people had with him in top lane, is that if he's not playing that ultra aggressive style that does come back to bite him in the butt several times, I feel like he doesn't really have any other mode. Like if he sits back, he usually lost lane pretty handedly. Like it usually wasn't too close. Like he would need several ganks to get bailed out, or it just turned into, okay, we're going to ignore top side and focus everything on mid and bot lane. So I feel like his playstyle could benefit. Again, it comes down to where the meta is. But I like the move. I think it makes things fresh, and it keeps a lot of other teams on their toes because they don't know what to expect now.
Yeah, and I mean, he played weak side all year. Self-made, it did gank for him a bit here and there, but the objective was mainly getting their bot lane ahead, as we saw with Upset and Hilly quite a bit. But again, it's another coin flip situation where Hilly is extremely talented, very smart player, but him and Weepa both have the tendency to commit to fights. Whether they're good fights or not, we won't answer that question on the show. But overall, I think the commitment of the team behind it, sometimes there was a hesitation for players to follow those two in, or maybe they didn't think it was a good idea and they wouldn't follow in at all. And those bits of hesitation or that lack thereof follow-up ended up being in fights that kind of went pretty far against Fnatic in certain situations. With him moving to jungle, I think it could fix... The playstyle is my biggest question mark, but the communication, I think this is a really good move. When you look at that roster overall, Niski's not a very big talker in-game. Upset does not talk that much in-game. Adam, we don't know too much about yet, but he's a young player, so he's probably going to come up and feel a little bit less experienced, so I don't expect him to be talking a bunch either. Hillsong talks a bit, but still, again, quiet outside of saying, I'm going in. Weepo has the difference there. Weepo is that potential communicator, and he was very silent in the spring. He was trying to let the team kind of form itself and almost do more of a team shot calling, which we've seen over the last couple of years. I think this is the time for Weepo to say, hey, I'm going to become the shot caller. I'm in this new role. I have the ability to watch the whole map. He already has the knowledge there. I think if he becomes a vocal shot caller, that is what really makes this change stand out. So we'll keep an eye on that. Again, guys, changes won't go through. It's either May 21st or May 26th is the date that players can be signed from the Eastern or the European Masters, rather. So keep an eye out for that. We'll keep you updated as we know more as well. But some interesting changes already potentially coming out. Over to Overwatch League. Former New York XL and Overwatch League superstar Pine is returning to the league, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be playing for the Dallas Fuel, filling a spot that was left open there in the offseason. Playing really, I mean, that talented team is just getting more talented. Fearless has been a monster at tank this year. Their DPS has really not been bad, and now they get an upgrade as well here with Pine coming in. And John, the Fuel just won the May Melee event up against the Shanghai Dragons in the final. This team already starting to click quite a bit early on in the season, and now a major upgrade potentially if Pine can refine his form here.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the Fuel, I mean, the biggest thing, the reason why they got off to a slow start was they did have a major DPS player leave right before the season started, and that DPS player was a long-range specialist. It's very hard to have a long-range kind of hit scan player leave right before your season starts. So they had to find different ways to adapt to that double bubble and rush meta that we're currently seeing in Overwatch League. And they started to find ways to do it. I mean, Joey, take a look at their match against the Washington Justice. That was a match a lot of people circled and said, okay, this is going to be something that the Justice are going to steamroll them through. And it was a tough matchup. Like, it was 3-1 the final in favor of the Justice, but that was a hard-fought 3 maps to win for the Justice. Dallas took 1 map, I believe it was the second map in that matchup. I mean, it was they played incredibly well. It doesn't surprise me they won the May Melee. I like this move because Pine is that hit scan player, is that Widowmaker player, is that long range DPS they need in the current state of this meta, especially with a lot of the maps that are being picked out of the pool. They need that long range DPS player. This is a massive upgrade for a very impressive Dallas Fuel team that's catching a lot of people off guard.
Yeah, and I mean, again, they're not a bad team. Like they might not be making top fives of a lot of predictions, but they're in there in the top 10, typically in that top 7 range. I would probably put them right in that top 5, if not right outside of the top 5 personally. And again, this is just an upgrade that potentially, at least on paper, makes them look a lot better if Pine can find form as well, because now you have just another threat on that team alongside Fearless, alongside Sparky. I mean, just overall, there's so much potential on that roster. So they're scary enough, and now you're adding a potential superstar back in. We'll see how it all plays out. But for now, this makes Dallas look even scarier than they already did at the beginning of the season, and they just won an event as well. Over some industry acquisitions, EA Electronic Arts has acquired Metalhead Software for their EA Sports division. Metalhead is a Canada-based studio, most known for their work on the Super Mega Baseball franchise. Not that it's giant, it's just super mega as far as art style. This comes on the backs of their recent acquisitions of Codemasters, which they made to bolster their racing division, ending up cutting off 2K, or Take-Two rather, who is trying to move in and make that move. Then we had Glue Mobile recently get acquired as well from them to strengthen their position in the mobile game sector. As EA said, they have a number of mobile games in the works. So now they've increased their racing sector, or they've really strengthened it. They've done the same thing on the mobile platform, and now you're bringing in someone else in Metalhead who kind of plays a little bit more of that, I don't know, how would you describe it? Like toy type of games? It's not really that full on like simulation baseball like you have in something like MLB The Show, but more of a goofy looking Wii Sports kind of look to it.
Yeah, it's like a cartoony, like an over the top cartoony baseball player in the steroid era with the oversized muscles and the gigantic heads and massive faces and everything. So yeah, I like it. We'll see what actually comes of this, whether this is just, EA kind of going back into baseball, thinking about maybe trying to bring a simulation baseball game back to compete against MLB The Show, or are they just going to go that mobile game route, or that cartoony version of baseball, which more of an arcade style, and not go up and compete against the show? Because I mean, let's remember, MVP baseball was a thing for EA Sports, and at the time, it was probably one of the better ones on the market before MLB The Show came out, and I believe 2K even had a version of an MLB game as well. So there are a lot of things from those series that developed into MLB The Show. So this will be interesting to see what EA does with this acquisition, because there's a lot of potential with this acquisition with baseball going forward.
John, I'm not going to lie. I've never heard of MVP baseball. I'm just looking it up now. 2007 looks like their latest one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. I remember like Manny Ramirez was on the cover of one of them, and it was good. Like that was, I believe MVP baseball was the first baseball game that actually introduced the minor leagues, and they actually went all the way down to single A. MLB The Show only goes down to double A. So it was really cool, as someone who, my first job ever was at a minor league baseball stadium at a single A stadium. That team was in the game. It was, no pun intended. It was really cool, seeing the organization I worked for in the video game. Like that's probably gonna be the closest I'll ever get to actually being in a video game, is working for that organization. But it was pretty cool. MVP baseball wasn't too bad.
And this is super interesting. So their last professional was 2005. Then they went into NCAA baseball and did 2006 and 2007 in college only. Mm-hmm. And then from there, they moved to South Korea and released MVP Baseball Online from 2012 to 2014.
Yep.
It looks like they have struggled a lot in the baseball sector. So we'll see if they end up coming back. I think a move like this, John, to me, makes it sound like they're looking for more like that arcadey style. Yeah. Like that's currently an open segment. I mean, you can argue like, what is it? RBI baseball is kind of the big one in there. A little bit of that arcadey verse simulation style. At the same point, Super Mega is pretty popular. This could be a move to try to move into that, not only with baseball, but some of the other sports as well. Sliding into some other news, Gamescom confirms it will once again be all digital this year. That's the one that happens over there, I believe, in Cologne, Germany. Opening Night Live will be produced by Jeff Keighley, and it'll be on Wednesday, August 25th. Not too much to share there, but this is one of those events, typically like the E3 of Europe in a sense, where we end up seeing a lot of these bigger game announcements, particular European game announcements. We did have some American-based ones as well, like Gears of War. I believe we saw, I want to say it was their campaign or their multiplayer reveal over there at Gamescom. Usually see a couple other games here and there, whether it be a CGI trailer or some gameplay being shown. But overall, it's definitely one to mark your calendar with past the summer. And you typically get a lot of those big announcements over there. So Jeff Keighley does a great job. We saw him at the Game Awards. The Summer Game Fest was pretty good last year. A little too spread out for my liking. It's going to be a little bit more condensed this year. And then heading into the late summer, early fall, we do have this once again, and it should be a pretty good show. Over to E3, which is happening before then in June 2021. It is confirmed that more companies will be joining the ranks. So we have people like Xbox is confirmed, Nintendo is confirmed. I believe Take-Two has confirmed. So there's about a handful of them that have confirmed so far. Now adding on to that, we have Square Enix, Bandai Namco, Gearbox Entertainment, Freedom Games, Devious Eye Entertainment, Turtle Beach, Verizon, Binge, and Xseed are now confirmed attendees as well. There's still a couple weeks left. I believe I want to say June 12th is when E3 is this year. So we still have about 3 weeks where they could announce some more people coming in potentially. So far, as far as drops, we've only had Konami drop out. Sony is another big name not present there. EA is another potentially maybe a few sports games as well. There's apparently a Miss America game that keeps getting thrown around that's supposed to show up in a showcase at some point. So maybe that comes into, who knows. But at least for now, we do end up doubling our attendees for E3, and it should be a pretty good showcase. I think I froze there. Am I back?
You did, yeah. It sped up. We caught the last maybe 7 seconds of what you were saying.
Rip. So yeah, E3, guys. A couple more publishers should be fun. We'll see what happens. We'll keep you guys updated on that. Again, it's about 3 weeks away. So if you're going to get any major game announcements that are not going to be included in the E3 show, it's probably going to be over the next couple weeks. And we'll bring those to you as well as the E3 coverage potentially. We don't exactly know what we're going to do for E3 yet. It could just be normal level up. We could end up doing a co-stream. We could do a little bit more. So we're keeping an eye out on potential possibilities there, and we'll keep you updated as we go.
I can tell you the two attendees that I will be taking a nap through. That's going to be Turtle Beach and Verizon.
I don't know. Is Verizon, is this like the phone company?
I think it is. Like, look, I get it. Verizon, you have Fios. I have Fios. I like Fios. Fios is fun. Fios is great. Fios is, yeah, I don't understand why you're here. I really don't. Like, is Verizon going to, like, release a game? Like, are they going to release, like, a special gaming package / streaming package for internet providers? I just don't understand that. Like, everything I saw kind of pointed to the internet provider. And Turtle Beach, I'm sorry. Here goes our Turtle Beach sponsorship chances, Joey. I think for the price that Turtle Beach costs, there are a million different other headsets out there that are a lot better, that are not made out of cheap plastic, and that will not break after your first rage quit in a game. So I
will say I love Turtle Beach back in the day. Like when I was playing Call of Duty competitively, they were by far the best headset. Like everyone was either on them or Astro, and just the surround sound in Turtle Beach was phenomenal on console. Nowadays, I'm using other stuff like HyperX, and we have the whole mixer and everything set up. But at least back in the day on console, it did feel pretty darn good, the old Turtle Beach headsets.
Back in the day when I plugged it into my N64.
Back in my day, Turtle Beach used to have some great audio quality. I'm sure they're good, but yeah, again, there are many other options out there nowadays as well.
For half the price.
Based on what I'm seeing, John, the last time we saw Verizon at E3 was 2002, where they decided to communicate their mobile game strategy. Have you seen any Verizon mobile game strategy, I don't know, products that have come out of the strategy since then? Because I haven't heard of any.
No.
You may leave the stand.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know if this is like a Verizon like game studio that I've just never heard of, or if this is just Verizon saying, hey, we're going to be a sponsor. I mean, E3 didn't say these are all having showcases. So this could just be Turtle Beach is going to sponsor something. Verizon's going to sponsor something. I really don't know. But yeah, I don't know. If they go into gaming a little deeper, I'd be very curious the direction they go there. over to Ubisoft, who I believe is also confirmed for E3. They've announced new plans for their Division IP. So the Division Heartland is going to be their new thing. It's a brand new free-to-play standalone game in the Division universe. It's going to be developed by Red Storm Entertainment, and it will be coming to PC, consoles, and cloud in late 2021/2022. Asterisk COVID-19. Who knows what happens? But at least for now, later this year, early next year is what they're looking for. I don't know what this is, John, but if I had to guess, I think this is the Division's version of Warzone or Fortnite. I think this is going to be some kind of battle royale type of thing.
Hooray, another battle royale. If you didn't already have 12 to choose from, here's possibly number 13 for you. I hope they do something different, like, I don't know, jump out of a plane into a city with gas slowly circling you in, and if you stay in it too long, you die, or an imaginary force field on an island that shrinks, and if you stay in it too long, you die. Or, yeah, I think I've covered all of them. Super excited for another potential battle royale, because I want more battle royale, Joey. I want a lot more battle royale, please.
Yeah, I'm very curious what they're going to do with this. Like, the Division in and of itself, I feel like has unique parts to it. It kind of has that Destiny like live service feel where you're going from zone to zone, but it's third person, so you can draw a little bit of a comparison to Fortnite. But God willing, we won't be building things for years and a half, so that could be a nice change to it. But yeah, it's just, if it does end up being a battle royale, it feels like one of those things that we've seen done over and over, and everyone just wants to jump on that train, but no one's bringing enough uniqueness to really make it stand out too much.
Just real quick, Joey, I want to go back to Verizon real quick. They were at E3 in 2019 as well. They had a booth. And at that booth, I know, at that booth, they were advertising, and this goes to show you that Verizon's to blame for the pandemic. They had their 5G gaming booth talking about how the 5G service is going to be great for mobile gamers. And then you know what they gave us afterwards? The Rona. So there you go. 5G confirmed for the cause of Rona, for all you crazy conspiracy theorists out there. That is pure sarcasm and does not actually represent science. So please take that as a joke. But yes, 5G gaming booth.
Wow. Good job, Verizon. Glad you were there. We'll see if you make a digital appearance in some way this year. I feel like a digital booth would probably be hard to do. So I think they're either, I don't see them doing a showcase either. I think it's got to be just their name on something, like E3 something panel presented by Verizon, something like that. I feel like that's the way they're participating, but who knows? We'll see what they end up bringing. For now, keep an eye out for the Division Heartland. Again, a free-to-play game coming later this year / early next. On top of that, John, Ubisoft will still be making new content for the Division 2 as well. Another big win for live service games. We saw it with Destiny 2. Bungie has done a good job. I'm not going to say reviving the game, but continuing to pour new content in after losing players here and there. And now they're thriving again. They have a lot of players. Players do take time off from the game as it does get a little stale here and there. But Bungie's done a good job of continuing to add in updates that are meaningful and that do bring changes, whether it be changing power levels, whether it be adding new weapons, but just new story content as well coming into the game. And it looks like the Division will continue on that route as well. Additionally, there are plans that came out on their timeline. They're going to have a mobile game in the works. Go figure. Everyone jumping into the mobile market. A novel and a Netflix film. This one will be starring Jessica Chastain and Jake Gyllenhaal. So some pretty famous actors and actresses coming out there. Overall, Netflix seeming to jump into a lot of these video game style movies. We recently saw the series for Dota come out. League of Legends has a series dropping as an animated series later in the fall. There's a couple other things that I don't think have been announced yet as far as video game shows and movies. So Netflix really diving deep into that audience. This could be another win overall. We really don't know. I feel like there was a show like Homeland, I believe is what it was called, that was kind of reminding me a little bit of the Division, so it kind of plays a little bit into that mindset. I could see this being popular, especially with the actors and actresses they've chosen so far. But again, it is a video game movie, and we've, let's say, been shaky on translations of how those have come over so far.
I will say this. They do not deserve our trust until they earn our trust when it comes to video game movies or TV shows. The Witcher so far is about the only one I give a thumbs up on. But other than that, I don't trust any of them. I just don't.
Yeah, The Witcher was good. I actually never saw it, but I know rating-wise it did extremely well. I'm trying to think, like, I did not have issues with, do you remember the Prince of Persia one, like, a while back? I thought that was a
No.
pretty decent movie. But other than that, I mean, like, not really too much since that old super classic Mario one.
Let's go and talk about the OG Mario Bros once again, and about how the Goombas were not really Goombas, and just it was not good.
Yeah, it was Goomby, is what it was.
It
Very
was so
Goomby.
bad.
Yeah, it was a mess. And speaking of, we're going to be talking about that a little bit later. There is potentially a new Super Mario movie in the works. Let's actually just slide down to that now. So Nintendo is working with the studio behind Minions Illumination. They're working on a Super Mario animated movie. Nintendo president Furukawa has also come out and stated that the company is looking at additional opportunities to move into the animated space as well. So that could be some other IPs out there. I don't know if we'll see like a Super Smash Brothers come in necessarily, but look at like Legend of Zelda. That could be a cool animated series. Samish, there's plenty you could do with like the Metroid series. So there's a lot of different Nintendo IPs out there that could potentially be translated over. Maybe not as like a live animated series, but more like a cartoon style that I think could do very well. And if anyone's going to do it, John, it's Nintendo. I mean, look at Pokemon. You want to look at any animated series, Pokemon is probably the one that has by far done the best. Viewer numbers, money made, the movies, the shows. Like, if anyone has done a successful video game to movie / TV show, it's got to be Pokemon so far. I feel like they've got to be the best out there.
Joey, I may be completely in left field with this, but I would rather Nintendo actually start caring about their esports scene and the Smash scene.
I would love that too.
You know, as much as I would love to see, you know, more Nintendo, you know, media content for like shows and movies and whatever, I would love to see them actually care about their amazing Smash and Ultimate scene, because, you know, those communities, not just because we're from the DMV, the DC, Maryland, Virginia region, and it's big here, but because it's a very passionate, dedicated fan base worldwide that deserves the backing of the creator of these games. It's just, it bothers me when we see Nintendo throw money just anywhere and everywhere just for the sake of creating content or creating media buzz, when, like, can you imagine how much that scene would blow up if Nintendo actually cared, if Nintendo actually backed it, if Nintendo actually just, I don't know, opened their eyes for a change? I don't know. That's, I think this is a great idea with what they're doing here, teaming up with Illumination. I think that's fine, but I just think that there's bigger things that they should be worrying about.
So I love this deal. I think moving into this space is great for Nintendo. I agree on the esports side, but the biggest thing to look at here is Nintendo has the money to do both. They could easily do both 3 or 4 times over. They are so full of money that they're just not using right now.
But they won't.
And I think part of the reason as well is, like, with the esports side, yes, they need to pour more money into it. They don't even support the competitions. They shut down some local competitions, not only here, but throughout the world. And that's not a good look for Nintendo. It's not a good look for their IPs. In no way does it encourage their competitors. But I think the other big thing they need to focus on is their online services. They suck. Like, they're terrible. Xbox Live has some downtime. PlayStation has downtime as well. But Xbox, you can still party chat. You can still play games. PlayStation, the same thing. Now they both have free-to-play online. Nintendo's online. You know how long it takes me to go to someone's Animal Crossing island? It's like a 10-minute load time, and then I have to go through all these hoops and everything. It's like, I'm just going to drown or have this plane crash by the time I make it over there. It's like, I don't have time to wait around for this. And you have these next-gen consoles where things are loading up in like 5 to 7 seconds. Meanwhile, Nintendo, it takes me 10 minutes to load into a plane. Like, their online infrastructure in general needs a whole overhaul, in my opinion. And to look at esports, I think it's great. I think at the very least, they should be providing money and some kind of, like, I don't know, a Nintendo esports Twitter account where they're retweeting things, where they're helping bring signups up in that way. I think that would be great. But the online infrastructure needs an overhaul as well. And if you're looking at changing one thing, I think that's the start, because that ends up helping your esports scene grow. It allows for that multiplayer camaraderie and competition online. Maybe you can actually have an effective friends list on a Nintendo Switch. That would be nice. But again, the communication, like, I remember playing Mario Kart on like the Wii. That thing lagged so freaking hard. I mean, I didn't even know what lap I was in at one point because it's just lagging so hard. And I had good internet. And it's the same thing with the Switch. Like, yes, it's more effective. It's a newer console. It's better, but the Nintendo online infrastructure is still terrible. So I'm one of those people that would love to see them partner up with someone, whether it's bringing Xbox Live to them or PlayStation Network or some kind of third-party service using a cloud like Azure or Amazon's web service. They just need something that's more effective than their current online system. So Nintendo has a nice laundry list of things to improve on. But hey, John, right now, regardless of the movies, they're going to sell you games that are 10 years old for a full price, if not more than they originally sold for. And they're going to keep selling Switches right off the shelves because they're very effective in that way. And that's just been Nintendo. They've always kind of gone to the beat of their own drum, and it's worked year over year, month over month, as they just continue to sell like crazy games and consoles.
Joey, I didn't realize Animal Crossing affected you that hard.
Man, I stopped playing that game because the load times were so long.
Joey, I feel like after we're done here, I need to come over and give you a hug. I feel like Animal Crossing has hurt you, and I'm not okay with this. Like you're my friend, sir, and I need to make sure you're okay. My shoulder is here for you to cry on, Joey. That was some traumatizing stuff there.
Yeah, I'm starting to hear that Chemical Romance song play in my head now. I mean, just seriously, like Nintendo, come on. We have things to work on. John and I are here. We're willing to consult. We would love to help you out. But yes, your esports scene need help. Your online infrastructure needs help. We're excited for your movies, but there are definitely a lot of things that need a helping eye and hand from Nintendo.
Joey's not okay.
I enjoy it, chat, while you can. The Coalition, the studio behind Gears of War, has announced that they are making a move to the next-gen focused development, and that includes Unreal Engine 5. We knew it was coming eventually. I feel like this is the first of many, John. We're going to see a lot of... Did you just make that into a trash can? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Sorry.
Great throw for the podcast listeners. John's amazing. Unreal Engine 5. So the Coalition has announced that they're making the move. I think a lot of other studios are going to start making this transition as well. Some of those live service games are going to take a little bit longer. Maybe some games that were going to be developed and come out earlier due to the pandemic, they got delayed anyway. So maybe they end up delaying another 6 months to a year just to move things to a new engine. It's a very high possibility. So Unreal Engine 5, looking a little bit deeper at the Coalition's announcement, they're going to release 2 more operations for Gears fans. These are their larger content drops. On top of that, they're going to include new characters, maps, special events, all that good stuff. And then they also mentioned they're developing on Unreal Engine 5 for multiple new projects in the coming years. This is big. The Coalition, so far, we've only known them for Gears of War. This means we could be getting multiple Gears of War projects, but I have a strong inkling that we're going to get a couple other IPs coming out. I believe one is a brand new IP as well. So keep an eye out for them. They're going to have Gears of War still. There'll be some kind of Gears of War 6 or Gears of War of some sort. But on top of that, you might get some new IPs from them. And again, if you didn't play it, Hivebusters is probably one of the best graphical games so far on next-gen consoles. It was a DLC for Gears of War. It's very, very good graphically. Definitely check that out. On top of that, they said they'll not be announcing any new project or titles for some time. So don't be expecting a new announcement at E3 this year, maybe not even next year. It's going to take time for them to do that transition, as well as get these new titles in order to eventually show you later down the road. Good stuff there. I'm excited. I think the Coalition is a great studio. I think Gears of War 5 had a very rough start, as did you, John. We both kind of played it right around that start time, and
Yeah.
servers were quite bad. It was very hard to connect for the first couple weeks. But overall, I feel like Gears 5 pushed certain things in good directions as far as graphically speaking. And I feel like as the age of the game went on, especially with the later DLC coming out in December, I believe it was December 2020, it looked gorgeous. And it gives me a lot of hope to see what they can do there with Unreal Engine 5, whether it be with Gears of War or something else. I don't think we need to spend much time on this next one, but a class action lawsuit has been started against Sony, accusing the company of being a monopoly for no longer allowing third-party retailers to sell digital game codes. Fam, I don't see this going through. One of the main reasons is this is not what a monopoly is. Monopoly is either that board game that takes years to play, or it's something where a corporation is just completely taking over an industry. Sony not allowing third-party retailers to sell digital game codes is not a monopoly. That in no way is that a monopoly. Now, you can argue it's maybe being anti-competitive. We have the whole thing going on with Apple and Epic. I feel like that's a valid argument because it does kind of come across as anti-competitive. But anything that has monopoly on it, this is not even close to a monopoly. So I personally think this one probably gets thrown out if it even makes it anywhere to begin with.
Yeah, Sony does a lot of stupid things. I don't see this being a monopoly. It's the same argument here that, people getting mad because like Fortnite got removed from the Apple App Store. I mean, it's a private company. It's a private marketplace with their own TOSs. Like, that's exactly what they can do, whether you like it or not. If you want to be a part of their marketplace, you have to play by their rules. It's not a monopoly by definition. I hate to tell you that. I don't see this going anywhere either. I think this will get thrown out in a heartbeat, and we're just going to continue to watch the spectacle that is Apple versus Epic continue.
Yeah, I agree. And I think there might be an argument for anti-competitive again, because it is a little bit in that route. But the way this thing is written right now, it's not going to go anywhere. So I wouldn't think too much of it, guys. But if you want to go sign it, be my guest, and good luck with that. Nintendo, we already talked about that. Google Stadia, John, we touched on this a bit on our little attempt at a Thursday stream while we were playing games. Just to briefly go over it again, the head of product, John Justice, has now left Google. He was overlooking Stadia. Additionally, 6 more employees have chosen to leave. They have joined Jade Raymond at her new studio, Haven Studios, which is working on a PlayStation exclusive game for their first project. Overall, I'm not surprised by this. I think Google's dead. Not the company overall. They're going to still do great. We're all going to still Google things as our main search engine. But overall, with Stadia, it feels like it jumped out a bit too early, tried to find its footing, and now it's up against people like NVIDIA GeForce Now. You have Microsoft's xCloud that already has a giant catalog. Amazon is in the fight now with Luna. It just feels like Google is, a few steps behind, but now they're cutting first-party content. They're losing developers left and right. The head of the whole project has now left. I feel like it's just a matter of time, just like Google Task and a few of these other Google things that we've seen over the years. It's just kind of being left to die out. Anything else on Google Stadia? Or are you having a little bit of latency over there?
It needs to die faster. Google Stadia is just trash. Like, it's not even, no, just stop.
I feel like the nail in their coffin was Microsoft buying Bethesda. I think once that deal happened in the fall, they're like, oh, shoot, we actually have to spend money to compete in this industry. And I think seeing that Microsoft is willing to spend money, seeing that Sony is constantly willing to spend money, Nintendo puts money out, not for their esports scene, but for other ways. So overall, we've seen a lot of these like mainstay companies be willing to make money. Amazon is in a lot of these different conversations, willing to put theirs on the table as well. And I think Google just overall is thinking this is going to be a huge investment for us to even find our footing in this industry. With all these big players already here, we're just not going to be able to compete. I do not like the way they went about launching the product, and I don't like the way that they've gone about taking it off, especially if they are just kind of leaving it to die here, though. Upcoming, guys, this is the last time you're going to hear this, so listen clear. Whether you're listening live on Twitch, listening to the podcast on the podcatcher of your choice later down the road, Horizon Zero Dawn, the complete edition. It's free to download through May 14th, guys. You have a couple days left. It's part of PlayStation's Play at Home program. I don't even own a PS5, but this game, I do have it on PC. It's not my favorite, but it is a great game overall. I think Guerrilla did a phenomenal job with it. It's one of those games that's critically acclaimed. I believe it won Game of the Year or was runner-up. It's free. No one turns down a free game, especially a free AAA game. Go check it out. Again, May 14th is when it's in that store. Until if you don't download it by May 14th and you're a listener, you have no excuses. I've mentioned this on every episode. John has laughed at me every time since the first one, but that is the final announcement you're getting on that. So go download it.
Joe, that means you have several more days to convince me to fire up my old PlayStation 4 to download it, because I have not even touched that thing.
Honestly, if I was you, I would wait for the Steam summer sale and just pick it up on PC for super cheap. Because now that it's on PC, like if you're a PC gamer, you might as well have it there. But yeah, it's still free. We like free. Free on PlayStation 4, free on PlayStation 5. Go pick it up. Rainbow Six has announced a new limited time event, Apocalypse. Again, not to be confused with Infection, whatever the other names were. I feel like they had like 1 billion of these going around the internet. Yeah, Quantum something they had. Eventually, there's going to be a game that's kind of like one of those modes, but at least for now, this is some kind of limited time mode that's coming out. Apocalypse. It's in Rainbow Six Siege. It is running from May 4th to May 18th, so a little over a week left to play this one, guys, if you want to jump in, but it is currently live now. Go have fun. Last but not least, for upcoming, Discord's birthday party. Woot woot. Its live stream is teased for this Thursday, May 13th. It's going to be at 7 a.m. Pacific time, which, if my conversion is right, what is that, 10 a.m. Eastern time? John just looking at me. We're going to go with that. 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern time, I believe is correct. That's Thursday, May 13th. I don't know what they're doing. I don't think there's going to be any big announcements personally. I mean, they are working on some things. They like working on it's like social game aspect in the background, like where you could pick up and play some chess or play some Uno or whatever with people. I think some of that stuff is in the works, so maybe it gets announced, but I think it's still a while away. I think this is going to be more like a let's have fun, let's chat a little bit about the past with Discord. Some of the numbers maybe being thrown out about what happened over the pandemic because they saw a big rise of users and engagement. Some of that might come out, and then we'll probably get some giveaways, maybe some Nitro giveaways here and there. Maybe you get some Wumpus stickers, maybe some plushies. I don't really know, but that's being teased again Thursday, May 13th at 10 a.m. Eastern time for the listeners if you want to check that one out.
So if you get more than one Wumpus, do you get Wumpai?
I think I would go Wumpai there.
You think you'd go Wumpai?
But then again, is Wumpus I mean, that could be someone's name. Is that creature's name? Or is that its race?
I think that's a question we need
species,
to ask our friends at Discord for clarification of what Wumpus is.
Yeah, we need to know, is Wumpus a proper name or is that the species name? Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and attend that live stream. We'll bring our balloons, we'll bring our party hats, and we will bring our questions about Wumpus and see what the answers are from Discord.
It's a flock of Wumpai.
I like Wumpai. I'm personally all about Wumpai. A couple other updates for this week. Riot Games has come out and announced Wild Rift Esports with a global tournament set to happen later this year. John and I have been warming up a little bit on Wild Rift. We played, a handful of games, maybe not even. We jumped in there. We dominated, actually, until they sent John top lane for one game, and then we were separated, and our skill did not quite shine as well. But overall, that's going to come out. We now have a global esports scene getting set up for that, even a little bit quicker than what we saw with Valorant. This one's going to have teams qualify through regional competitions over the summer, and then it's going to kick off with a world championship / global tournament of sorts later on in Q4. So it should be a pretty cool end of year there for Wild Rift, now publicly released, I believe, everywhere as of late March. With that, let's transition over to Overwatch League. We recently had the May Melee. We touched on it a bit at the top of the show. The tournament contenders that ended up making it in, John, the Shanghai Dragons and the Chengdu Hunters over there from the Eastern region. And then for the West, we had Florida Mayhem and the Dallas Fuel. All said and done, we saw a final with the Dallas Fuel heated up against the Dragons, and in the end, it is the Fuel that came out on top with a 4-2 victory, taking Shanghai down twice in this tournament, as well as taking down Chengdu 3-1 in the earlier rounds. Dallas also had some hard opponents making their way to even qualify for the tournament. This team is on fire, and they just picked up Pine as well.
Yeah, Dallas Fuel putting people in Overwatch League on notice. This team... I really think they've been such an underdog. I feel like Dallas really shut a lot of people up back in week 1 when they took the Houston Outlaws to 5 maps. That was very surprising for a lot of people. And now here they are winning the May Melee, and now they're picking up another stellar player. I feel like the Dallas Fuel are kind of like on revenge mode. They're coming back and making people feel really bad about their preseason predictions.
Yeah, Dallas Fuel looking really good again. I think John and I both rate them right around our top 5 probably. I think we both would probably put them in the top 5 at this point. If not, definitely right around there. They're a team to watch, and especially bringing another talented player like Pine in again. If he can find form, this team gets even scarier, and they just won a tournament. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Again, we are the official co-streamers for the Washington Justice. You can catch that not this weekend, but next weekend. They're back in action. We'd love to have you come over there and check it out. That's the Washington Justice YouTube channel. So you can go ahead and find us over there for some good old Overwatch League action. With that, John, let's slide on over to some League of Legends to wrap things up on today's show with MSI. Looking at MSI, so things are still being played throughout the group stage. We do have Group A all wrapped up, and that is RNG, Royal Never Give Up. And, John, they did not give up in the group stage. They come out 8-0. Pentanet GG is 3-6, taking that second spot, and the Unicorns of Love at 2-7, falling into that third spot and being eliminated. Overall, again, this is the group. The Vietnam team, I believe it was the Gambit Marines, or not Gambit, the Gigabyte Marines, were not able to make it in due to travel restrictions, so the group got dropped from 4 to 3. In the end, 2 teams still did qualify, and those 2 teams are RNG and Pentanet.gg. Coming out of that. I don't have high hopes for Pentanet. They did end up coming out there and beating Unicorns of Love, who I believe both you and I did take through the group stage, but RNG, again, being one of the strongest teams in the whole tournament, looking really strong here. Over to Group B, they, I believe, are finished up play as well. Mad Lions is 5-1. They go ahead and advance out of there, along with PSG Talent at 4-2. John, I believe these were both the two teams we chose, so they did end up moving on. And then the teams eliminated are Pain Gaming from Brazil, as well as the Fast Pay Wildcats, not making it out, but did pull a win. They end up 1-5, Pain Gaming at 2-4. Again, I think this group ended up just as we thought it would. We got our two qualifiers. The rest of the standings fell into place the way we expected. So no real big surprises. I do like the fact that Mad Lions is coming out and showing up on an international stage, though. This is something the LEC in general has done a pretty good job of over the years, but Mad Lions did falter a bit at Worlds last year. Now coming out, getting some of that redemption again early on and against, let's say, some of the weaker teams in the tournament overall. PSG Talon looking pretty good, but now we'll have to see how they do up against someone like a Damn Juan and a Royal Never Give Up as the tournament goes on. Anything else on Group A or B, sir?
Group B, we were perfect, so that's why you should be listening to us. Just saying.
Perfection. We did not do very well on the May Melee predictions. By the way,
we don't have to talk about that though. We don't have to bring that up.
We were
ever
almost
again.
perfect last year in predictions, but we did not have Dallas Fuel coming out on top. I believe we had the Shanghai Dragons, so
yeah.
We were somewhat close, but no cigar on that as Shanghai did fall to Dallas. Back to League of Legends, though, looking at Group C, this group is not complete yet, but I think some of the writing is on the wall, at least for the #1 seed. That is Damn Juan, your reigning world champions. Damn Juan Kia are 3-0 currently, heading into the second half of this group stage, while a little bit more of an interesting second seed here. Detonation Focus Me from Japan, Cloud9, and Gillette Infinity are all currently tied at 1-2. You and I both had Cloud9 coming out of this group with Detonation Focus Me making some noise. Well, John, so far through the first half of this group stage, we've gotten what we wanted. Cloud9's in second, Damn Juan's in first, and Detonation Focus Me is definitely making some noise.
I said it. This is the group of death. Like, Cloud9 should get the second seed in this. And that's not just because I'm a Cloud9 fan. Just they should have the second seed with no issue. They're having issues. Detonation Focus Me and Infinity Esports, I mean, they're playing well. Cloud9 is going to have to find a way to pull it together. Otherwise, there'll be another NA LOL meme session when NA fails to get out of group stages once again. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be a spicy finish to Group C. I mean, I really feel like it's a complete toss-up between these three teams right now.
Definitely one to watch. So we're both going to take Damn Juan Kia out. We're going to secure that, lock it into first here, unless you feel differently. As far as the second seed, though, are you going to stick with Cloud9 here, or do you think our good friends from Japan, Detonation Focus Me, or even Gillette Infinity, currently tied for that spot, do end up coming out on top in that second seed?
It comes down to Cloud9 and Detonation Focus Me for me. So I'm going to stick with Cloud9, my original prediction. I do think they should pull it out. I hope they will pull it out. But I think if they lose to anyone, it's going to be Detonation Focus Me.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it's a bit of a coin flip. I do think Cloud9 comes out on top. This feels like Perks' kind of buff zone. It's 1-2. Perks is coming into week 2. He's been here many times before. How's he going to come out? How's he going to perform? We saw it with G2 previously. Now, he doesn't have Caps on his team anymore, so that is a bit of a difference maker. But I do feel like if Cloud9 is going to come alive, now is the time to do so. At the same point, Detonation Focus Me even gave Damn Juan Kia a bit of a run for their money in their match. So overall, this team has come out. They brought some creative drafts. They've been able to push some of the contenders in this particular group. I would not be surprised to see Detonation Focus Me come out, and I would love to see it. But at the same point, I think Cloud9, looking at the roster, looking at the salary, looking at the coaching staff, Cloud9 should be the team coming out in the second seed here.
Should.
Yeah.
Should.
Big should. Just like COVID-19, there's an asterisk next to everything. But we'll have to see how that plays out. Again, MSI still continuing on that group stage. I believe that wraps up tomorrow as far as that stage goes. So keep an eye out for that. The only other thing to touch on, I think, that comes to mind, John, is I did just, as you mentioned earlier on in the show, I wrote a review of Jason Schreier's next book, Press Reset. You can find that on our website, otnmedia.org, as well as on Twitter. We retweeted a few places. At OTN Media on Twitter is a great place to find that if you guys want to check it out. The book was phenomenal. Again, not a paid ad or anything like that. I just really enjoyed it. It really gives an in-depth look to the video game industry, kind of the, let's call it the darker end of things, and kind of how some humans are treated in that back end as far as projects being canceled, their work being cut. different things like that going on. It happens in a lot of industries, but the video game industry, especially the development side, can be quite volatile at times. And it dives quite a bit into that, so definitely worth checking out. That one comes out officially tomorrow. And again, the review is up now. Other than that, John, I don't think there's too much else to touch on. Maybe we want to tease our week ahead because we're casting like a gazillion events, it feels like. What do we got on the slate for the week ahead, John?
That's a great question. So the number one thing that is guaranteed is I will not have a voice after this weekend. Well, first off, just Nation, I'm right there with you. Joey just teased a very good book that's coming out. He was the only one that read it. I did not have access to it. It's a book I would have loved to read. Joey kept it to himself. I wasn't allowed to partake. He specifically, I don't even think he really told me about it that much. It was more like, I'm not going to tell John anything. I'm just going to keep it to myself because my name's Joey and I got access to a book early. So I'm definitely going to check it out also. Not because Joey said I should, because the topic sounds fun. And
yeah, I think I'm going to actually get the book OTN wise for all of our staff. I think it's really interesting. I think it's a great read and I think it's really well done. So yeah,
it's
I was
time.
lucky enough to read it ahead of time, but I think I'm going to buy it a few different copies out there for everyone. So it's worth the read. I think you're really going to enjoy it, you and the rest of Level Up Nation. But John, let's talk about our events. What do we have going on this week? Things kick off on Wednesday.
Pain.
And again, it's a very long week ahead for us.
So the doctor has prescribed pain for us. Wednesday is the playoffs for the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference Rocket League season, if you will. The regular season wrapped up last week. All the 8 teams have qualified for it from local universities and colleges here in the DMV area. So that will happen this Wednesday, the 12th. 7 p.m. is when the action starts. Pre-show will start around 6:30 p.m. Mid-Atlantic Esports is the Twitch channel. Definitely check that out. Joey, you and I will be there casting that. It'll be some good matchups there. And then that will roll into one of the Triple Crown events of esports here in the DMV, the Spring Summit, presented by Events DC and Game Gym, our good friends up in Maryland. They've been absolutely fantastic creating and promoting local esport events, and we are absolutely honored to be a part of those events as well, casting. Joey, we're going to go a little outside of our comfort zone. We're going to be doing some Rocket League action, which is really cool. We'll be calling the semifinals and finals for the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference, but we're also going to be dipping our toes into Overwatch for the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference, as well as there is an Overwatch season there. We'll be calling some of the playoff matches there as well. And Joey, we have played, as Siri is reading everything back I just said to me. We're going to be diving into a game that you and I have played for years. A game that actually, I would say, probably kickstarted our friendship to grow even more. And that is League of Legends. As some of you may know, Joe and I went to the same college. We were in the same friend arena, if you will. But really, it wasn't until after college that we realized we had a lot of these similar interests, and one of those happened to be League of Legends. And now we're doing a
Reckless,
podcast.
in fact.
Yeah, and Reckless, yeah. So it was really kind of funny, and it just kind of took off, and now here we are. But yeah, so we'll be calling League of Legends. That's gonna be really exciting. We'll be calling the playoffs for that as well. I believe it's gonna be the quarterfinals. I believe, I can't remember, but
I think we are calling quarters and semis.
And then GMT.
So we're diving deep, guys. This is our first time. So John, I believe, has dabbled with a little bit of League of Legends before.
Like one
this
or
is our
two.
first time as a duo jumping into League of Legends, and it's been a hot minute since John did it originally.
Yeah.
So we're diving in hot, and we're going with not just one match just to pull in a little bit of a pause timer. We're going pretty hard in there, hitting some quarterfinal matches, hitting some semifinals. And again, on top of Rocket League on Wednesday, Rocket League on Friday and Sunday, some Overwatch mixed in there as well. We've got ourselves calling 3 titles this weekend for probably, I think we're casting somewhere around 15 hours probably this week, maybe even 20.
Yeah, I've already started my regiment to keep my voice intact. We'll see how long that takes to completely go away. It's going to be exciting, though. It's going to be really exciting. They are accepting donations. It goes to a fantastic charity. The Extra Life Foundation is absolutely fantastic. So definitely swing by the stream. It's actually going to be dual streams. It's going to be on the Game Gym Esports Twitch channel, and it's going to be on the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference Twitch channel as well. Look, if you're looking for something to do, like if you want to dabble in some other esport genres, if you're a League fan but you want to check out Rocket League or Overwatch, it's such a great weekend to just tune in and hang out. They have some amazing panelists coming in from all over the world, amazing industry professionals coming to talk. I mean, it is such a great event. And again, I just can't say enough really how honored I am to even be considered to be a part of bringing this amazing event to the viewers out there to enjoy. You and I play a small role in just giving our voices to paint a picture of what's going on in these esport titles, but it's just really cool to be a part of something so big.
Yeah, absolutely. Great charity, the Game Gym as well. Wonderful partner to be up there with, as well as Events DC. They've done a number of these events. We were there for the summer event last year. We were there for the Winter Games as well in December. Now coming back again for the end of that Triple Crown, or really the beginning. I don't know if we start with the winter, if we start with the spring summit here. But overall, they all come together as a great culmination of events. And once again, the panelists, the events as far as the competitions, just the environment in general, and then the charitable cause being all wrapped together. It's just a great event to be a part of, both on the production side, coming from the back end, as well as for viewers. So lots of great stuff to look forward to there. And again, that will be our weekend. So John, the other thing to mention before we wrap up is the show, Thursday show and Monday show. It's going to be a TBD, guys. We might be there. We might be recording like normal. It might be more of a chill stream like you got last week on last Thursday, where John and I play a game and chat with some content here and there as far as gaming and esports. Might be canceled altogether. We really don't know. It depends, if we have any energy going into the weekend, or if we need Thursday to kind of recover. And then as far as Monday goes, it's probably going to come on if we have a voice or not. So we'll keep you updated. Again, check out our Twitter. We'll hit it again here in a minute, but that's at Level Up Live on Twitter. That's going to be the best place to check LVL UP Live. I think we're good now, buddy.
Okay.
I think we hit it all.
I'll go ahead and wrap it up then. I'm trying to save my voice as well. I was trying to Nation! That will do it for this edition of Level Up Live. But before you go, head on over to patreon.com/OTN and consider becoming a part of the Overtime Network. In return, you will get access to exclusive content that nobody else in the world can get unless they are a part of OTN Media. If you have not already done so, make sure you follow the show here on Twitch to catch the next episode of Level Up Live. And if you listen to our show on the podcast feed, please leave us a review. Level Up Podcast is available on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Play. We would love to hear from you. In fact, we love to hear from our listeners and viewers so much. There's multiple ways for you to interact with us. Joey, what are some of those ways?
Absolutely, guys. Once again, head on over to Twitter. That is the main place to be here for Level Up, outside of Twitch, of course. That's at Level Up Live, LVL UP Live. In addition to that, the umbrella company OTN Media can be followed on Twitch and Facebook at OTN Media, and on Instagram at OTN_media. Last but not least, this show, the Level Up Podcast, or Level Up Live for us live listeners here, on Twitch is going to be Mondays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Get a little bit of an asterisk there as well for this week and next week, depending on what our schedule ends up looking like with Spring Summit. But you should have some streams throughout the week regardless, whether it be this show or other ones. Check it out, twitch.tv/OTN Media.
All right, so make sure you are following that Twitter. I will say it again, at Level Up Live, to see if there is going to be an episode this Thursday, May 13th. And if there is, we'll be covering the latest and greatest in gaming and esports news. So do your ears and eyes a favor. Hit, slap, punch, tickle that sub button to know when the next episode of Level Up Live is ready for your viewing and listening pleasures. We'll catch you all possibly on Thursday. Have a great week. Remember, be nice to your fellow gamers. And as always, level up.